Hey everyone's Jackel Wolf back in Chemical Exchange with another 5 minutes. That's how I did it. Now, if you've been following along, you know that we are working our way through the quest book. Last episode, we did the 16 nickel, the 16 gallium, the 16 cadmium, the 16 dyspronium, the 16 zirconium, and then we also did the cobblestone generator level 2 as well. So this episode, we're going to go and we're going to focus on the simulation chamber. This is an item from Deep Mob Learning. The beginning of Deep Mob Learning, for the next few quests, you want to make a wither skeleton spawn egg to start making hellish matter. Now, we're going to start with the wither skeleton spawn egg, because it is actually fairly simple. Then we're going to move on and do the simulation chamber. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use either of these this episode, because it is a little bit of a complicated build when we get to the simulation chamber, and there's a few other things we got to build before we get on to actually using this stuff. So to make ourselves a spawn egg, we're first going to have to craft ourselves an egg. Now, I could go and I could put a grassy plot a little bit further out. We can maybe spawn in some animals, or I can actually create a vanilla egg using just the chemicals we've already got here. So to make a vanilla Minecraft egg, we're first going to have to make some carbonate. Now, to make carbonate, we're going to need 1 carbon and 3 oxygen in our chemical combiner. We're going to make sure that is paused, and we're going to go carbon, 3 oxygen. There you go. There's our carbonate, and it was not paused. It is now paused now. We're going to take that carbonate and we're going to take some calcium. We're going to throw that into our chemical combiner. So 1 calcium, 1 carbonate gets us some calcium carbonate, which is very straightforward. We're going to need 8 calcium carbonate, and we're also going to need some protein. We're going to need 2 proteins. Now, this is a very complicated recipe. If we go into our chemical dissolver, you can see it is a bunch of whole stuff here. Now, we could make this ourselves, or we can take something like a piece of zombie flesh and throw it into our chemical dissolver. There you go. We've got ourselves 3 protein right there. We only actually need 2, but that is okay. So we're going to take the 2 protein and the 8 calcium carbonate. We're going to hit resume. There is our vanilla egg. That is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what we want. The second part of this recipe is going to require some polluted earth. Polluted earth is what we are using here in our mob grinder. There's a little bit of experience there to spawn in mobs despite the light level, despite being super close to spawn here. So it is super useful. You cannot create it, though. The only thing we can do is we can go to our shop. We can select the other, and then there you go, polluted earth for 500. We're just going to go and buy 1 for now, and there you go. It is in our inventory. We'll go to a crafting table. We'll go put the egg in, the polluted earth. There is our wither skeleton spawn egg. Let's hold on to this, because if I place it now, we're going to have a wither skeleton, and that's just going to be doing it too early. I've got a feeling we're going to be using that once we get our simulation chamber up and running, as well as get some deep mod modules, but those could be a little bit further. We do need to build our simulation chamber today, though. This is quite a bit more complicated. That's why it's just going to take us the rest of the episode. To make a simulation chamber, we're going to need some glass, some soot-covered machine casings, some redstone comparators, some lapis lazuli, and some ender pearls. Other than the ender pearls, everything else in here has got to be created. So to make glass, it is simply 4 silicon dioxide in our chemical combiner in the bottom right-hand corner. Again, very position sensitive. We're going to hit resume. There's our piece of sand. We're going to run over here. We're going to throw it into a furnace. It is going to cook this up into a piece of glass. And actually, I could grab the rest of that glass there. And there we go. 6 pieces of glass in a crafting table gets us some vanilla glass panes. That is perfect. We'll come over here. For now, we're going to put 1 of those panes right there, and we'll just keep that right here. Next up, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make ourselves a redstone comparator. To make a redstone comparator, we're going to need some redstone torches and a piece of nether quartz, as well as a little bit of stone. Stone is easy. It's just cobblestone in a furnace. But the redstone and the nether quartz is a little bit more complicated. So to make redstone torches, we're first going to need a little bit of redstone. Redstone is strontium carbonate and iron oxide in our chemical combiner. We're going to make sure that is paused. Strontium carbonate, iron oxide, resume. Sorry, it is iron oxide and strontium carbonate. There you go. There is our redstone. We'll grab our other 2 pieces of redstone, and we've already got our sticks, and we could just do this up here. We go here, and there you go. There are 3 redstone torches. That is absolutely perfect. Now we're going to have to make ourselves a piece of quartz. Now, quartz is a little bit more complicated. It is going to require that we produce ourselves some barium. Now, this is not a chemical we have in our world, but it is made using hand purple. We can get hand purple by running a magenta dye through our chemical dissolver. Now, there are a couple of different ways of getting magenta dye, one of which is to use some rose red, some lapis, and some bone meal. We could also grow some more flowers and, hope to get a magenta colored flower as well. That would get the dye that way. I'm going to make the chemicals because that is, what we are doing. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to need to make ourselves some mercury, sulfur, and this is going to help us get the rose red. So mercury sulfur is simply mercury and sulfur in our chemical combiner. That gets us our mercury sulfide. I'm going to hit pause on that because that's going to ruin me at some point in the future. We are going to need 8 total because it is 4 mercury sulfide in a crafting table in the top left corner. That is going to get us our rose red. Now, we do need 2 of those to make the purple dye. We are also going to need a little bit of lapis lazuli. Now, lapis lazuli is one of those complicated chemical formulas. So it is 6 sodium, it is 2 calcium, 6 aluminum, 6 silicon, 24 oxygen, and 2 sulfur. And we're going to take those guys over here. We're going to hit the pause again. And then in the top right, or starting in the top right, we've got our sodium, our calcium, our aluminum. Our silicon is in the middle left. So top left, middle left, oxygen, and sulfur. We're going to hit resume. There we go. We got 4 pieces of lapis lazuli. We're going to take the bone meal, the lapis, and the rose red. We're going to come over here. Again, it is 2 rose red, 1 lapis, and 1 bone meal. That gets us our magenta dye. Now that is really, really good. We're going to open this up. We're going to go throw 1 in there. There we go. We've got our hand purple. Oh, and I was not quick enough. Grab that back out. And we're going to go throw 1 of those up there. There it is. There is our barium. That is absolutely perfect. We're going to go add that to our transmutation table. It is now learned. And we're going to go barium here. And we need 8. We'll go grab a stack and start throwing these back. And there we go. So we've got 8 barium. We are also going to need 16 silicon dioxide and throw that in our chemical combiner. Hit pause there. So barium and 16 silicon dioxide. There we go. There is our 1 piece of nether quartz. That is absolutely perfect. We'll come back over here, and before I do anything, we'll grab the stone. I really missed the Tinker's tables because it was so much easier to set stuff up in advance. So vanilla redstone comparator, 3 stone quartz, and 3 redstone torches gets us our redstone comparator. That is perfect. We're going to go throw that in our crafting table here. So last thing we need to do is we need to make ourselves a soot covered machine casing. Now, a soot covered machine casing is fairly simple. We are going to require 9 pieces of coal. So to make coal in chemical exchange, we're going to hit pause there. Is 8 carbon in the top middle row. If we put this off to the left, it was going to make us some charcoal. We want this to be coal. So position sensitive, we're going to hit resume. There is our coal. Now we need 9 pieces of those. We're going to come back over to our crafting table, and we're going to make a block of coal. Now that is absolutely perfect. We're going to come back over here. Let's just go and let's throw this up here for the moment. How we make our soot covered machine casing is we're going to need to start with some soot covered redstone. Now it is very, very simple. It is a block of coal. I'm going to take this redstone in my hand, and I am not going to right click. Right click does not do anything. We're going to go and left click and, basically bash it against that block of coal. We pick that up. It is now soot covered redstone, which is exactly what we want. Next up, we're going to need to use this soot covered redstone with some obsidian. Now, we've done this one before, but before we make obsidian, we're going to need a way to mine it. So we can make these obsidian breakers, which are really, really handy, and they are actually quite cheap to make. So it is 2 potassium and 2 sulfur, and we're going to have to throw that in a crafting table. We'll just use ours up here. And just in this sort of cross pattern, there you go. There is a obsidian breaker. We'll go grab those other 2. And we've been making obsidian by making lava in the liquefier using the phosphorus. I think it's 8 phosphorus to 1 bucket of lava. We're going to go take that out, and we'll come back over here. We're going to put 1 and 2 and 3, and then we're going to come over here with our bucket of water, and there you go. Oh, and that's perfect. Okay, that worked out good. I was quick. Most of the time the water spreads everywhere, and I have a problem with that. There we go. So we're going to right click on the obsidian with the obsidian breaker. It does consume it, which is unfortunate, but it is, super simple to make. So again, we're going to come back over here to our crafting table. To make these soot-covered plates, we're going to take the 3 obsidian and 1 of those soot-covered pieces of redstone. That's going to get us 8 soot-covered plates. And we're going to come back over here, and we're also going to need 4 iron. Now, to make the iron, it is simple. Again, position sensitive, top left-hand corner gets us our 4 iron. 16 iron chemical gets us 1 ingot. We're going to take all these guys over here. We're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. Ignore that guy there. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 soot-covered plates, 4 iron ingots, and 1 soot-covered piece of redstone gets us a soot-covered machine casing. Now, that is the last item we need to craft our deep mob learner. So we're going to put the soot casing there in the middle, redstone comparator, 2 lapis lazuli, 2 ender pearls, and that glass pane, and we're going to come back over to our crafting table, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So 2 lapis, redstone comparator, soot-covered machine casing in the middle, 2 ender pearls, and a glass pane, and there you go. There is our simulation chamber, and we have now gotten that advancement. We did not need to make that egg to get the advancement, but I kind of thought this was a good opportunity to get that spawn egg while we were doing that simulation chamber, just so we don't forget about it, because it is mentioned in this quest. So at the beginning of Deep Mob Learning, for the next few quests, you want to make a Wither Skeleton spawn egg to start making the Hellish Matter. So I knew we were going to need it. I didn't want to forget about it. There is our 500 monies. Next episode, we're going to start working on a couple of these other things. We're going to make that loot fabricator, and, I'm sure there's some other stuff that's going to get unlocked down that path. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you've done any of those advancements any differently than we have. I would love to hear all the different ways out there are to get those chemicals and get those components. But if you enjoyed this video, please think about leaving a like and a subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Jackel Wolf. Check out the description below. There will be a link to my Discord page, as well as a link to my Patreon page. If you enjoy this channel, if you enjoy this content and you want to support, stop by, check it out. There are a lot of great perks there for all of my supporters. But that is it. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.